Yep, we're reading from Urban Tribes by Ethan Waters. Um, and let's get into the reading. It's late, but I'm doing it, trying to keep a schedule. Just off, just a little bit. Medication they gave me for my back. It's rough. Puts me to sleep. I guess that's what it's like to be high all the time. I guess I see why. I see why. Every time I walk out here in Jamaica, I see in Queens, I see, or everywhere. Be honest with you, I see black people nodding off, getting high. Um, if you're always sleeping, you can't feel the depression. But we gotta fight. We gotta fight. We gotta stop getting high. We gotta stop escaping, and we gotta take this thing head on. Better to die. Well, I'm not gonna say better to die. I guess it's your personal choice. I just say better to die fighting for me. Let's get into the reading. She was devoted to her job, admitting that much of her life circled around the campus. She even lived as a fellow in on campus housing and was pursuing her PhD on the side. Her hope was to build the sort of resume that would allow her to become a dean of students someday or the president of a college. Her urban tribe in Philadelphia was composed of about 15 people and with 6 members at its core, almost all of whom held jobs on campus. She was a coordinator of most of the group's activities, organizing frequent cocktail hours, group dinners, and new restaurants, and acting as coach for their summer football team. I'm softball team. They shared season tickets to Penn basketball and always seemed to be planning for the celebration of somebody's birthday. Looking back on her time since starting her master's degree, Beth saw a clear positive progression in almost every aspect of her life. Every year has gotten better, she said, not bragging but simply stating a fact. I've becoming more secure financially and in my career. Every year I felt more confident and happy. How do I say this? Jobs are not supposed to be the core of your happiness necessarily. Now, if you're doing work, that's part of who you are. But in this society, jobs and work don't necessarily go together. There's plenty of people who have jobs who do no work, or they do something that doesn't, and by work I mean any activity that produces something. So maybe I should say they don't do any work, but they don't really produce anything. They just work for the sake of working. We've reached a point in our society where we really we've already asked the question. It's already been answered, but you have people stuck in traditional ways. Work for the sake of working is gone. Is useless. We need UBIs. We need federal housing for people who only make UBIs. And you got to remember, the hierarchy our society was built on has left some people so far ahead of other people that even if you were to stop the injustice now and just even it out from now, those people are so far ahead that the rest of us are like, even though we've done all the right things, we're behind. For silly reasons. I stood up for myself on the job. Got bounced. As a black man, that's a no-no. Refused to miseducate other blacks. And most of the time coming up, because remember, I'm in Generation X, our jobs were usually always tied to harming other black people. The more harm you brought to other black people, the more money you can make. Again, that's kind of ending. They don't really need blacks to do that anymore because Black people voluntarily walk into a grinder. They don't need black people to convince other black people. So you see a lot of black people, that high end black people, getting laid off, getting forced into retirement, getting bounced from the system. Um, that's why all the stress and the heart attacks and the strokes are coming, because those of us who were bounced decades ago, we've been out here. We're used to it somewhat, even though I am gonna be honest, I do have anxiety sometimes. But my anxiety is not what I'm gonna lose, because I've lost everything. I've been there. And if I have to go back there, you go back there. My anxiety is actually dealing with regular people, but that's another issue for another time. Because people have fallen so low in their consciousness, fallen so low in how they behave, that trying to be civilized in a savage society is work. It's hard work. And you know, if you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. Because if you're watching this, you probably are one of me. I don't have that many subscribers. So, you know what people are like. Looking back on her time since starting her master's degree, let me see, Aubrey did that. The prospect of turning 30 didn't scare her in the least. Yet she has some lingering concerns. Oh man, did I do? Turn up the volume. Okay. She clearly remember how she imagined her future when she was 21. At that younger age, the idea of being 30 held the promise of progress on every front. Certainly, she remembers thinking she would have managed to get married and start a family. Beth knew that being single at 30 was not an aberration. Among her friends in Philadelphia, there were many in the same boat. However, there was another group of friends in her life who had taken a different route. Nearly all her friends from her Rosemont college days, good Catholic girls mostly, had tied the knot. The stirring of weddings, which she often attended in bridesmaid gowns, had started in her early 20s and become a torrent in the last couple of years. In one 16-month period, she attended 16 weddings. "I've begun to hate weddings," she said to me. This was a bit of a surprising admission, because Beth didn't seem like a kind of person to hate anything. I sit at the back of the reception hall with the other college friends, and I say to myself, here comes the lousy dance music. Her willingness to dance joyfully to celebrate good times, come on, had been sorely challenged. I didn't really say that right. Her willingness to dance joyfully to celebrate good times, come on, had been sorely challenged. The torrent of weddings are like, I used to work weddings. It's the same thing over and over and over again. The torrent of those weddings of those college friends had recently let up, for the simple reason that there were no more to get married. At the last wedding shower she attended, besides the bride-to-be, she was the only single woman. At one point, I got everyone's attention and told them, hey, if any one of you secretly feels sorry for me, please stop it. I feel fine. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Really, I'm happy. That's a weird thing to say at a child. Judging by her good-natured demeanor, I certainly believed her. She knew she had a privileged life and a good job in an interesting city. She was devoted to the students she counseled, to her friends, and to her family back in New Jersey, which included 2 young nephews. She celebrated Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter with her blood family, and spent 4th of July, New Year's Eve, and Labor Day with her Philadelphia friends. She was sincerely grateful for it all. But still she wondered what had happened in the marriage department. Her years of being single had yielded only a handful of short-term boyfriends. None of those relationships had even come close to ending in marriage. It frustrated her that she didn't exactly know why things had played out this way. As I talked with her, I became certain that a couple of reasons were not part of the answer. This is the weirdest thing, man. I mean, my generation, I think the boomers did this too. So deep in this weird reduction of everything to our personal life so that social and political context doesn't mean anything to us. And the real world actually has no bearing. It has bearing on our life, but it doesn't even dawn on us that we're in a world. It's like our personal life takes up so much of everything in our minds that we don't even make room that, hey, I'm Timothy, I'm in New York City, I'm in a country, I'm in a society that was a plantation society until 4 years ago. Plantation society means brown skin, I'm on the bottom, white male, black male, opposite each other. If white male was on the top, then I was on the bottom. Yes, the plantation has collapsed or transitioned. We're transitioned to something else. But the people haven't transitioned because they have no idea. They have no connection to what is actually happening. It's all my personal life. I can't. I can't do a universal basic income. I gotta work that job. Well, the job is, they told you, it's not essential. They told us that in 2020 there were essential jobs and non essential jobs. And 40 to 50% of the jobs were non essential. Why the ruling class buckled and gave in and said, okay, y'all can go back to work is beyond me. I don't know. Um, Maybe so many people were breaking down that they said, well, we got to manage this somehow. Maybe we cut it off too quick. Even though they have been laying people off for decades, 10,000 here, 20,000 there at a time. But we're so delusional. We're so in our bubbles. We weren't even paying attention to that. It was just numbers, no reality. I had seen people tell other people who had gotten laid off, just go get another job. And, a lot of times I used to know it. And one day I had to start saying, well, where do you think jobs come from? They don't just fall out of the sky. You know what I'm saying? And we need to work, but there's work to be done everywhere. So this idea of sending people out to do a job when there's work that needs to be done in people's houses, in people's neighborhoods, on people's streets, really, really still kind of blows my mind that we don't get that. But we don't get it. I know we don't get it. I still hear people saying the same stuff. You close your eyes, you're like you're in the 1980s. Our president thinks he's in the 1980s, and the masses of the people still think that we're back there. And by the way, everybody's gonna get laid. I mean, everybody's gonna be. I don't want to say everybody, but you drug dealers, they get ready to legalize everything. Remember, cocaine was legal in last century. Know your history. They're getting ready to legalize it all. You're not going to be able to do crime that will actually pay you. You're going to have to do UPI. Okay. And they're going to make it too expensive anyways for you to have certain things. They're going to make it too expensive to have meat because meat is destroying the environment. They're going to make it too expensive for you to drive a car because the car is destroying the environment. Remember, they manage you because we're not mature enough for them to say, hey, these things are destroying the environment. Can you stop? We're so deep into our madness. It's kind of like we've reached a point of no return. Okay, where was I now? Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Something about that. Okay. This is where we are. All right. For one, she had not hidden herself from the opportunity to meet men. Despite all the time she devoted to her job, her position as an administrator at a world renowned university ensured that she was meeting a fairly constant stream of new, smart people. Besides, she wasn't one of those people who let her work eclipse her social life. She played sports, ran charity races, and went out with friends frequently. I was also sure that Beth had not adopted. Sure, what I'm doing on time here. Oh, man, I'm way off on time. I'll read the rest of this on Sunday, and we'll continue with that with Urban Tribes by Ethan Waters. I also, because I needed something to center myself, something I have been. Oh, let me tell you the book I got for next week. Hold on 1 minute. Yeah. The End of History and the Last Man by Francis Fukuyama. I've been hearing a lot about this book lately. Supposedly, this is what the liberals, what the neoliberals believe. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to read it. Again, I went to the library, and this book was downstairs in the basement. All the good books are in the basements of the libraries. So that's for next week. But this week, I'm still reading Urban Tribes, Ethan Waters. You can hit all the links. You can support. You can give directly. I think YouTube was trying to monetize my channel again. I don't know what they're doing. Trying to monetize my shorts because people have been watching the shorts. We'll see. I don't know. I think they should take the threshold off. There are a lot of us YouTubers that are doing important work. We're not debating, we're not arguing, we're not yelling, but we are doing important work, but it doesn't get the views because our people are addicted to entertainment. But we do get views. We do have subscribers. And if you have less than 1,000 subscribers, I guess with so many people in the world, that is not a lot, but it's kind of punishing us for not doing ridiculous work. So it's a weird thing, but you can support. You don't have to wait for them. We'll see what happens. YouTube was like this. They were free first, then they went to a threshold, then they were free again, then they went to a threshold again. So let's see, with the economy doing so badly, with so many people trying to make money with what's going on with TikTok, maybe the government will lean on YouTube and Google and Alphabet or whatever the company is to take away the threshold. Every little bit counts in this society. Every little bit counts. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to keep giving you the work as long as I can, no matter what. Give support. Take care of yourselves. It's rough. Summer's coming. It's going to be a hellacious summer. So be safe. And do whatever you have to do to protect yourself, especially if you're in an urban area. Trust me. It's coming. There's a lot of anger, a lot of bitterness, and it's boiling over. And some of us have been able to keep ours down. Some people have been able to do that, but it's right at the tipping point. You don't know who's going to explode, when, where. Keep your eyes open, whether you're just walking down the street, you're in line at the store, you're taking public transportation, you're in your car, you're buying gas, you're in traffic. Just keep your eyes open. You don't have to be paranoid, but keep your eyes open. And watch your surroundings. Take care.